compliance and statutory regulation. And then lastly, I come to commerce-related announcements on regulation and compliance. So if I can start, before I start, I'll ask Anurag ji to go ahead with Hindi.
नमस्कार। जैसा माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी ने कहा कि बहुत सारी दिक्कतें जो आजकल कोरोना वायरस करके आ रही हैं, उसके चलते जो समस्याएं अगर बिजनेस हाउसेस में या कामकाज करने वाले व्यक्ति को आ रही होंगी, तो उसके लिए किस तरह से राहत दी जाए, उसलिए कुछ क्षेत्रों के लिए आज घोषणाएं की जाएंगी, ताकि जो वैधानिक रूप से आपको अनुपालन करना होता है, उसमें जो दिक्कत आ रही है, उसको चलते हुए आपको दिक्कत ना आए, उसके लिए कुछ क्षेत्रों के लिए घोषणा की जाएगी, चाहे वो आखिरी तारीख इनकम टैक्स को लेकर हो या जीएसटी के रिलेटेड इश्यूज हो, कस्टम और सेंट्रल एक्साइज के लिए हो, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स की कंप्लायंस की बात हो, या इंसॉल्वेंसी बैंक्रप्सी कोड को लेकर एमएसएमई वर्ग को ज्यादा उसमें तकलीफ ना आए, तो उससे रिलेटेड फिशरीज, बैंक रिलेटेड और कॉमर्स रिलेटेड ये सारे इश्यूज को एक एक करके माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी आप सबके सामने रखेंगे, ताकि लोगों को इस संकट की घड़ी में ज्यादा कष्ट ना हो और राहत भी दी जा सके और अनुपालन करने में दिक्कत ना आए।
So now I go to the income tax related. I am referring to the financial year 18-19. Financial year 18-19, the last date for income tax returns for the financial year 18-19 will be now extended to 30th June 2020, 30 June. For delayed payments made till 30th June, interest rate reduced from 12 to 9%, and this is strictly referring to the financial year 18-19 only. The last date for income tax return for the financial year 18-19 is extended to 30th June 2020.
आप अपने आप को देशभक्त कहते हो, मगर जब मदद करने की बात आती है, तो पैसा देने की बात आती है, तो बजट में आपको 1 रुपया नहीं दिखाई देगा। उनकी पेंशन के लिए 1 रुपया
anybody has in mind at this point in time?
As regards the timing you asked, this is exactly the right time, because as the FM mentioned, this is to enable them to support the 5 trillion economy. And as the FM has clarified, this is not going to cause any disruption, because you can draw the
So we shall allow them to form or take a call on introducing a CGM in their respective banks. And also to recruit, this is very important. Just only State Bank of India probably very recently had this, but to recruit chief risk officer from the market at market-linked compensations. At market-linked compensation, but not on salaries decided by government. You will have specialized risk officers from the market deciding on what the bank spread of its activity will be, and they will be adequately empowered to take a call on the decisions of the bank. And then to enable a succession planning, boards to decide on a system of individual development plans for all senior executive positions. What would this mean? It would mean that for each of the senior level position, there will be a set of 2 or 3 people who will also be built so that they get expertise in that area and be ready to, if there is a need, be able to take that position on. Of course, there will be yet another process of recruitment and selection, but at least we will be building capacity so that you have greater number of people who are with specialized skills and experience. So we are at this time itself giving enough material and freedom for them to have a succession planning within banks' boards. To ensure sufficient tenure, boards given flexibility to prescribe residual service of 2 years of appointment of GM and above. So nobody gets appointed for just a month or two because they are senior most, but they will once appointed be there at least for 2 years so that there's a sense of continuity, and by the time they get to doing something, they're not going to go away. So these are some of the serious governance reforms that we want to bring in. In again, bringing another set of reforms, we want to make sure that the bank's board committee system itself gets strengthened. So flexibility is being given to boards of large public sector banks to enhance sitting fees for non-official directors. They were being paid pittance. So many of these people did not even have an interest being in bank boards as official, non-official directors. Now the boards will be given the flexibility to get the best in the field and give them the pay that they need for sittings. For better board committee functioning, boards given mandate to reduce or to rationalize board committees. In some cases there are very many, in some there aren't as many, so they will be given the complete power to decide what the size should be ideally for them. And for risk management committee, we are giving the mandate to fix accountability, which is what is the main problem. For compliance of risk appetite framework, that is where we are also getting somebody from the market with adequate remuneration, and they will be given enough veto power to take a decision or to veto a decision from being taken. Longer term for directors on management committee boards, because most often, as I said earlier, they spend a short period. By the time they can effectively understand and do something, they're gone. So we are giving them longer term. The last point there about the strengthening of the board system, board committee system, is the management committee of the board loan sanction thresholds have been enhanced by up to 100%. So if they had an X amount this time, they would be having 2X to enable focused attention to higher value loan proposals. So this gives them the additional strength and power to go ahead with higher value loans. So further on the governance reforms, non-official directors' effectiveness is something which all of us have been questioning, discussing. We're trying to bring in some strength there. So the non-official directors' functions will have to be now comparable, analogous to the independent directors. So that's something which is happening now. Boards are given mandate for training of directors, both for the induction and for specialized purposes. Boards are given mandate again to evaluate the NOD, non-official directors' performance annually on a peer review basis. Thorough professionalization is what we are aiming at by doing these. The next is about leadership development in banks. Executive directors' strength in larger banks are raised to 4 for better functioning, focus, and also thrust on technology. Particularly on technology, we would ensure that there is an executive director who completely focuses on that, because the cyber security risks which banks face is also something which leadership should be consciously seized of. Creation of leadership pipeline under the BBB, the Bank Bureau Leadership Development Program, is also being introduced. So with all this, the public sector bank and their drive, we are going through wide-ranging reforms. Financially stronger PSBs are the ones which we are aiming at. Remember, please recall that in the budget we had made a provision of 70,000 crores. Well-provisioned PSBs, 14 already in profit. We'd like all of them to do well. Then technology-driven banking is what is the emphasis on today. Scale and synergy will be acquired because of the consolidation that we've done today, and governance is also getting strengthened, professionalized, and independence given to them to function. Now, if all this is what we have, of the 70,000 crores that we've given, I want a certainty out there for the consolidation. Have we just done the consolidation and left them free? No. We are giving them enough capital reserves with which they can be confidently functioning without worrying. And I underline here, even as we announce all the consolidation, we have given enough instructions for the banks at the branch level to be sure that that which we had announced last Friday in terms of liquidity, in terms of working with NBFCs, in terms of making sure that the credit availability in the market, all this will not suffer. On the contrary, we would want at the branch level enough dedicated staff to attend to that and not entirely all the staff to be looking after the consolidation program itself. So that has been very clearly instructed to the banks. We expect them to dedicate their staff to make sure last Friday's announcement as regards liquidity, availability of credit, reaching out to customers, reaching out to NBFCs, all happen without any disruption. So those dedicated to take care of smoothing out these consolidation will be completely dedicated for this purpose without having that suffer. So a rough, absolutely approximated number of what we would like to infuse with these banks. Punjab National Bank will get something around 16,000 crores. I just want one rider, one clause to be put here. These are approximate amounts. We will obviously tailor make them according to the banks and the requirement which will be discussed with the banks at that level. But here we are just giving you a broad indicator. Don't hold us on to this amount to the last digit. So Union Bank of India would get 11,700. Bank of Baroda will get 7,000. Although that was an earlier tranche of consolidation, we still support them. Canara Bank gets 6,500. Approximately all of them. Indian Bank 2,500. Now, does that mean we forget those which are existing in the regions? Not at all. Indian Overseas Bank, we think about 3,800 crores. Central Bank of India, 3,300 crores. UCO Bank, 2,100 crores. And United Bank of India, 1,600 crores. And Punjab and Sindh Bank, 750 crores. Now, these are not to take care of just the consolidation related work, most of which is already provided for. This is aimed at growth. This is aimed at reaching out to the market, reaching out to the customers for growth purposes. So these are amounts which are being given and provided to these banks which are getting consolidated